Motion pictures have come a long way since the days when eager young men dropped their nickels into Edison's kinetoscopes for a peep show look at pictures that actually moved. Today, motion pictures are considered one of mankind's most enjoyed, most respected art forms. As a means of creative expression, motion pictures attract artistic talents the world over. Film aesthetics demand creativity. In turn, that creativity demands a high level of technology. In no other medium is the artist more dependent upon the technician. In fact, if it weren't for the motion picture engineer and the continuing technological advances within the film industry, moviegoers might still be feeding their nickels into kinetoscopes, though today it would probably cost us 50 cents a peek. Motion picture technology has been enhanced, accelerated, and sometimes complicated through the years by the restrictions and opportunities offered by another technology, that of television. Television was once thought of as merely a distribution system, having no effect upon motion picture production as such. Videotape was considered little more than a convenient, high-quality distribution medium, an expedient method of delayed broadcast origination. But with the advent of videotape time coding, disc recorders, the best features of film, especially 16mm film and videotape, have been combined into a television production method uniquely suited for an electronic medium. The motion picture you're watching is an example of electronic 16mm film tape post-production, which reflects the economy and flexibility of 16mm filming, plus the speed and versatility of modern videotape editing. However, before we proceed further behind the scenes, let's look at a more sophisticated example of totally electronic film tape assembly. The television program open you've just seen began to take shape in the same manner as the rest of this presentation, with the exposing of regular EF 7242 news film in standard Aeroflex cameras. Throughout the filming, the cinematographer would shoot a few frames of a black and white chip chart each time the lighting situation changed. In this manner, video engineers could easily set proper color balance before the film segments were transferred to videotape. The transfer required 2 high-band quadruplex videotape recorders and a telecine projector. During the transfer, a time code generator tagged each television frame, 30 per second of course, with an electronic address that was stored upon one of the tape cue tracks. 2 copies of the original wild footage were necessary to effect dissolves in the final assembly. 1 copy would have been sufficient if the editor had indicated nothing but cuts between scenes. And if this presentation had required double system sound, then the original footage and 16mm mag film would have been linked up and rolled in simultaneously from a film recorder and playback unit and a telecine projector in Selson interlock. At the same time as the quadruplex recording, a helical scan videotape recorder, or VTR, also recorded the film upon 1-inch tape, with each frame address number superimposed over the video. This was the electronic work print, time-coded by the frame and ready for editing. Chemistry had provided the film stock and processing for the initial creativity. Electronics provided the means for continuing the creative process. Although a single helical machine may often be adequate for previewing rushes and making preliminary editorial decisions, it required 2 VTRs to make a rough-cut work print tape of this presentation. The editor used one recorder to view wild footage and the other to assemble the selected scenes. Whatever model helical recorders might be employed for work print editing, the VTRs must permit the viewing of individual frames and allow the rocking of frames back and forth to determine precise editorial points. The VTR should be equipped to provide clean insert or in and out editing. In addition, there must be a provision for cutting between wild footage and rough cut freeze frames to find exact points for a desired match cut or dissolve. By the way, if you thought that what you're looking at is a videotape of some film of an editor editing a videotape of some film of a guy, okay, well, let's see, where was I? Once the edited work print met with the required approval, the editor read the start and stop frame addresses for every scene on the work print and entered them, along with dissolve lengths and desired optical effect notations, on an easy-to-follow worksheet. At this point, the editor translated the work print frame addresses into a random access program. This was done by subtracting the frames necessary to find the entrance cue for each dissolve. Programs requiring cuts only may be transcribed directly from the original worksheet. Finally, an engineer entered the information into a random access programmer, in this case the Ampex RA4000. The programmer automatically found and queued up the proper scenes on the wild footage rolls. Some optical effects were programmed directly from a video disc recorder, which can provide instantaneously such actions as reverses, slow motion, freeze frames, speeded up movement, animation, dissolves, and with the Ampex HS200, even simple keys. If split screens, wipes, colorizations, chroma key mats, and the like are called for, then these scenes may be routed through a control room switcher, where a director can immediately provide the desired effects. As this videotape was being assembled, the editor made changes and additions on the spot. There was no need to wait for a film answer print. Electronic editing turned the assembly process into a part of the creative experience. An editor can watch his work come to life with each entry into the programmer. And once the final assembly has been approved, the finished film tape production is ready for prompt duplication and distribution. There are many advantages in 16mm film tape post-production. While avoiding the expense, relative inflexibility, and maintenance requirements of electronic photography, a producer also avoids the waiting time for and expenses of optical printing and additional chemical processing steps. Special effects, which would require hours or days to obtain through an optical film printer, are integrated into the master footage at the touch of a button. And most of these electronic 16mm effects, split screens, wipes, keys, and the like, are sharper than the same effects optically printed into 35mm film and then shown on a television screen. The use of original footage ensures optimum image steadiness. Once film has been transferred to videotape, the master footage will never discolor, streak, get scratched, or dirty. Plus, unlike either 16mm or 35mm film, a large number of videotape generations may be made without appreciable loss of picture quality. Direct film projection onto videotape also allows the use of a greater range of 16mm film stocks. The ability to rely upon both low-contrast print films and high-speed direct projection emulsions increases the scope and versatility of professional 16mm production. All these advantages add up to phenomenal savings in time, significant savings in money, and increased efficiency for the producer of television, spot commercial, and program film productions. More importantly, these advances in motion picture and television equipment and engineering techniques increase the quality of television production and expand the opportunities for using film and videotape technology to communicate more effectively and more imaginatively.